History tells us that Antarctica was discovered in the year 1820. That is a fact. We didn't see the frozen continent until modern ships could survive the journey. But if that is true, then explain this. In 1929, historians were cleaning out the dusty shelves of the Topkapi Palace in Istanbul. They found a bundle of gazelle skin parchment. When they unrolled it, they found a map drawn in the year 1513 by an Ottoman admiral named Piri Reis. At first glance, it looks like a standard navigation chart. It shows Africa, it shows Brazil, but if you look at the bottom, it shows something that should not exist. It shows the coastline of Antarctica. But here is the twist that keeps scientists awake at night. It doesn't just show Antarctica, it shows it without ice. How could a sailor in 1513 map a continent that wouldn't be discovered for another 300 years? And more importantly, how did he know what the land looked like underneath a mile of solid ice? Welcome to the mystery of the Piri Reis map. To understand the map, we have to understand the man. Piri Reis wasn't a conspiracy theorist. He was a high-ranking admiral in the Ottoman Navy. He was a man of science and war. On the map itself, Piri Reis wrote a note. He admitted that he didn't survey the world himself. Instead, he compiled this map using 20 older source maps. He claims some of these source maps came from Christopher Columbus, but he also mentions maps dating back to the time of Alexander the Great. And this is where the timeline breaks. The map depicts the coastline of South America with shocking accuracy for 1513. It places rivers and mountains in the Andes before Europeans had even explored them. But if the real problem is the southern continent. Let's look at the bottom of the map again. It connects the tip of South America to a massive landmass stretching eastward. For decades, skeptics dismissed this. They said, oh, he just ran out of paper and drew the coastline sideways. But in the 1960s, a professor named Charles Hapgood took a closer look. He compared the Piri Reis map to modern seismic surveys of Queen Maud Land in Antarctica. The result was terrifying. The map didn't match the ice coastline of Antarctica today. It matched the rock coastline underneath the ice. This implies that whoever originally charted this coast saw it before the ice caps froze over. Geologists tell us the last time Queen Maud Land was free of ice was at least 6,000 years ago. So are we looking at a map drawn by a civilization that existed 6,000 years ago? A civilization that had the technology to map the globe thousands of years before the wheel was invented? Even Albert Einstein wrote a letter supporting this theory, suggesting that perhaps the Earth's crust shifted, flash freezing the continent. Now, before we rewrite history, we have to look at the counter-argument, because there is always a logical explanation. Or is there? Skeptics argued that Piri Reis simply made a mistake. In 1513, mapmakers hated empty spaces. It was called horror vacui, fear of the empty. If they didn't know what was there, they drew imaginary lands, or terra australis incognita. Some historians believe the Antarctica on the map is actually just the coast of Argentina, bent 90 degrees to fit on the expensive gazelle skin. If you rotate the map, the Antarctic mountains look suspiciously like the South American coastline. But that explanation has a hole in it. If it's just Argentina bent sideways, why does it have features that match the sub-glacial topography of Antarctica so perfectly? Why does it show islands that are now buried underwater? There is one final twist to this story. Remember how Piri Reis said he used a map from Christopher Columbus? Well, the actual map drawn by Columbus has been lost to history. We have never found it. The Piri Reis map is the only surviving document that might show us what Columbus actually saw. and Piri Reis wrote that Columbus had a map before he sailed to America. Did Columbus have access to ancient knowledge? Did the Library of Alexandria contain maps of the world from a forgotten epoch of humanity? We may never know for sure. But the Piri Reis map sits in a museum in Istanbul today, staring back at us, a piece of gazelle skin that challenges the entire timeline of human history. Did they guess? Was it a drawing error? Or did someone sail the Antarctic coast thousands of years before history says it was possible? What do you think? Is this proof of a lost ancient civilization or just a confused medieval sailor? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to see more artifacts that shouldn't exist, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're just scratching the surface of the past. See you in the next era.